Hey there, welcome back to my channel and a fresh episode of Hard Talks. In today's episode, I'll be talking to Nick, who has a very unique experience going through Singapore's highly stratified and tiered education system, where he climbed from the lowest stream up to obtaining a university degree, as well as his personal message to students who might be going through similar scenarios like he did. If you're unfamiliar with Singapore's education system, it places a high emphasis on exam performance, with weaker students being placed into lower streams such as normal academic and normal technical, which focus more on vocational skills as well as slower paced academic learning. There's also debate between the Polytechnic and junior college route, as well as people perceiving this as unfair, where there are limited opportunities for weaker students. I hope this episode brings about insight into Singapore's education system, as well as the importance that teachers play in fulfilling a child's potential. Without further ado, let's roll the footage. Hey Nick, how are you doing?
Doing great.
What have you been up to? I remember you have quite some free time recently, and you've been traveling around the region, right? So where have you been to recently?
Yeah, I've been to visiting my friend in KL. Went to Thailand for my friend's wedding. Um, then when I got my free time, actually I'm looking into gadgets, the budget-friendly kind of gadgets, and things are like Soundcore, Soundpeak, those kind of brand that actually are really good for your pocket, and you really good getting good audio kind of quality with the money you pay.
So you're just looking to spend money then?
In a way, yes. Just like to try out things out there, like other than the mainstream products.
Right. Okay. So anyway, today's interview is we're going to talk about your family and childhood, and more interestingly, your education pathway, because you pretty much went through every single level of education in Singapore, which is primary, secondary, NA, and then
Yeah. Not NA and normal tech NT.
NT, and then IT, poly, local uni, and then
Yep.
grad.
Yep. Yep.
So you're the only person I know who has gone through all of this. Okay, but before we get ahead ourselves, let's just bring it back a bit and talk about your family and childhood. So, how was growing up like in your family?
Um, I think in my early childhood, I would say a bit messy. I'll put that way because when I was in K2, my dad actually went overseas for business, and after that, I think things start to fall.
Where did he
Then
go for? Where did he go?
China,
Okay.
China, because I, he's trying to earn more money basically over there. Start to do some new business. Then my mom was the one that's supporting us, so she need to cover two roles as fill up my dad's role and as a mother role as well. Then I think at that time my mom was quite stressed because my dad didn't with us like almost like 5 years of six five around, I think it's around 5 years 6 years, because he went there when I was K2. When he came back, it's like when I was like 10, maybe primary 5, maybe I think primary 5, maybe primary 4, primary 5, around that.
So,
Then
is your mom stay-at-home mom that time, or was she working too?
she was helping my dad business at that time. So my dad business was doing well before that. Then when my mom took over, actually over time the business actually getting worse because maybe my mom maybe not very good in handling business, but at the same time I think it's also hard for her because she's like taking care of us, like three of us, my sister, my brother, and myself, and have to take care of my grandparents as well.
Okay. So you have two other siblings, right?
Yes.
Elder sister, elder sister and elder brother, right? You're the
Yeah,
youngest.
I'm the youngest in the family. You're
Okay.
right.
So how's the dynamics with your siblings?
So as I mentioned earlier, my dad was away during that period of time, and my sister is the eldest. She was like 3 years older than me. Then a lot of time, I think she was supporting my mom as well. So I can see that at that time, my sister is already very mature because she had to handle stuff like handphone bills, those kind of thing, that anything that related to banking stuff and all those, helping my mom on that because my mom don't really know how to read, and that's the problem. So my sister was the one actually supporting all this and also taking care of us, assist my mom to take care of us. I think he is being a very good sister and very supportive to my mom.
Which sibling are you closer to?
My sister.
Why? Because she's like the 大姐 figure all the way, is it?
Yes, I think a lot of time, maybe it's easier to talk with a girl than a guy.
Right.
Yeah, and as a girl, I think it's easier to share things to her, and maybe he's more mature in thinking, in her thinking. So a lot of time, I think he give a better advice.
How about your relationship with your brother? How is that?
Um, Not going too well, I guess, because he's 2 years older than me, but most of the time I think um most of the time I put it this way that he didn't really take care of me much, but he do care me at times. So if you are talking about who am I closer, definitely my sister. My brother still take care of me, but not as much as my sister. Yeah.
Okay. So basically, sister good, brother not that good in terms of relationship.
Yes. Yeah, but still
Okay.
fine.
So your dad is back in Singapore already, right? Like
Yes.
5, 6 years, and then he came back, and then he just stayed here all the way already. He didn't
Yeah.
go out again. Ah,
Yeah.
okay.
When you go out, that means just overseas trips.
Right, right, right. Okay. So let's just move on to education. So can you like tell us a bit more about the early education, so kindergarten and primary school?
Yeah.
How was it like for you?
Um, I I would say there's a lot things going on during my primary school, secondary school, and IT. Yeah. So I think primary school was the worst memory and also a good experience as well. Because if you know about Singapore education, there's like EM1, EM2, and EM3. And EM3 is the worst. I think I would say all the rotten eggs will end up in EM3 because they are not good in study.
This EM thing, it's they stream you during primary school, is it?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So what primary four?
If
Which
I am not wrong, I think it's primary three. I'm not too sure, but I think it's in primary three.
okay. So you were in EM3 for primary school
Yeah,
after the streaming.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Did you feel like I don't know unhappy about why you're going to EM3, or you're just like YOLO, I'm gonna
Um,
have fun, I don't care.
yeah, I think during my primary one, I would say that I give up. I give up in education because I don't really understand what the teacher is teaching because my English was quite bad actually. No one actually guide me in English, and my grandparents actually don't really understand English. My mom is equally bad in English. So that was the time I think there's this teacher always say I'm stupid, you know. So I really thought I'm stupid, so I just give up and study. So I was thinking that, oh, since I'm stupid, why should I study? But in the later part of my stage, maybe around primary five, I meet this teacher called Mrs. Ham. Then she said, no one is stupid. I will help you to pass your PSLE and all those. So at that time, I started to study a bit more. And of course, my dad is back also, so everything is in place. So my dad also tried very hard to get me interest in study and all those.
So okay, um, but you still did manage to do well in
At least I
PSLE?
passed my PSLE because if you look at my report book, I think I failed every subject after primary one. Like during my primary one, I passed my maths and Chinese, but I always fail my English.
Are you comfortable with sharing your PSLE score?
It's as low as, I think if I'm not wrong, it's 95.
95. Okay.
Yes.
So, you after you got your score, were you like, screw this, I don't care about education, well, I'm just gonna go to wherever they put me and that's that.
Yeah, I think for me, I didn't think much. I just want to get into secondary school. I don't want to stay back. Like,
Okay.
I want to progress.
So you straight away you went to secondary school. That was NT.
Yeah, normal tech. So there's like special, express, normal ed, and normal tech. Of course, with my result, I didn't get to like normal ed and express. I got into like normal tech, but I think it's still a good experience in normal tech. Like I met two group of people. One group that actually, I would say, broken family. Like most of the people, them maybe single childhood, maybe quite messy their family, like they got a lot of family problems and all those. Then another group of people, their family are rich, but they don't really study.
So it's two extreme ends lah.
Yes.
Either one side is a lot of family issues, and
Yep.
then the other one is just I've got everything, but
Yep.
I don't care.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So which
Then
group did you enjoy hanging out with more?
the richer people. Yeah, I would say that they maybe it's very discouraging from them because I can see that their siblings excel in their education, and I believe their parents actually compare them with their elder siblings, and that's why they like lost interest in education and then end up in normal tech. I think this is why they end up in normal tech. Yeah.
It's actually possible to go secondary NT, then you promote,
To normal ed. Yes.
and then if you're also good at NA, you can go up again to
Correct.
Express, right?
Correct. Correct.
But you just like, I don't really want to deal with that. I just want to stay NT. And
Yep.
were you studying hard though? Were you actually
Uh,
pushing yourself?
to be honest, I don't really study that hard during my secondary school, but I still study to pass so that I can progress to like set 2, set 3, and set 4. So so I think I love maths a lot at the time. So the only subject that I really study hard maybe is maths.
You did well in math
Not
for
bad,
NT.
not bad, not
Okay.
bad. At least in secondary school.
Then by this time your English is better, I presume.
Yes, a lot better because my sister was the one helping me, like give me storybook to read, trying to help me in my orals and all those. Um, then also teaching me like how to pronounce word in a better way, those kind of things. So my sister is very supportive, I would say.
Did you ever feel like you're just this product that's just going through this whole system and there's no real like passion from the teachers to really want to help? Or did you feel like actually the teachers were quite engaged with you and you needed to push yourself to get better grades?
I I I would say that maybe you have two groups of teacher. One group of teacher is just following through the motion. Then another group of teacher is really having the passion to really help us in this, because that teacher really believe that we are not stupid. There's still hope in us. But of course, teacher will see that which one is like willing to learn and study and progress to the next level.
Do you think the teachers with more passion really did, improve your grades?
Yes, because they actually encourage us, and if you did well, they will buy something like some gift out of their own pockets and all those.
Oh, that's really nice actually. I
Yes,
would definitely
yes,
need more teachers like that.
yep.
So when you were nearing the last year of NT, did you think like maybe you could go to poly straight, or you
Ne-
just like, no, I'm just going to IT?
Never thought of going to poly at that time.
Never, just I'm going to IT, that's where I'm going.
Yeah, because there's no way from NT like you can go to poly unless you are in normal ed, because normal ed you can get O levels, you can still get to Sec 5 and get your O levels. Then for O levels you can progress to like polys.
Okay, so basically the route if you want to go to poly is Sec 5
Correct.
and then try to take O level on your own, hope you do well enough, and then go to poly. Otherwise,
Correct.
if you don't go that route straight away, you're just going to IT.
Correct. And
Do you
when
think
you
that's unfair?
mm, I would say it's fair. I would
Is it
say it's
fair?
fair because people study, because in poly I think you still need like better English, better like mathematics, and better maybe understanding of science and all those.
Okay.
Mm.
So, how was IT like? What's the difference after going to
Yeah.
IT between secondary school and?
Actually, to be honest, I don't really care when I get into IT from the very start of my education in IT, because IT there's another name. It's called EM.
Oh,
Yeah. So
do you feel
so
like you lost hope when you went there?
uh at that time, yes. So when I end up in IT, I really thought of my future, because by then I'm already like 17. Then I start working at maybe 16, when 16, 15, maybe around that age, in F&B. Then I realized that money is hard to earn. Then when I started to know that if you graduate from IT, I think your pay maybe around 1,010, 1,100, 1,200, around there. So so thinking about that, it made me like scared about my future, worry about my future and all those. Then I started to study more.
Okay, so you did try hard
Yep.
studying during IT.
Yep.
So how about the company or friends then in IT? Like, how the people there like? Are there still the same groups like the family issues demographic, and then the other one where they are really rich and don't really want to study kind?
I think in IT a bit different. I think most of the people in IT that I met, at least in my class, they are all right. Of course, there's some people that are also rich, but these people I think they also study hard, because when I get into IT, I'm I'm in college, is at the time is the, I would say, the best IT out there, and the better ones will try to get into this IT. So I was lucky that I get into this IT. Because at that time actually I want to get into Balestier. That's the nearest IT around my place. Then my friend actually asked me to get into college east. He said you got better facilities, you got better teacher out there, So okay, I apply the IT.
Were there any I guess bad influences there where they try to encourage you to not study, like, hey, don't study, hey, come play?
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Definitely, there's some people that maybe while studying this course, then along the way they lost interest in it, because as you know that IT is a technical school like Poly. If you know that you are not good in this, people just lost interest. It's like the same, like you started to have a guitar class and course and all those. Then maybe a few lessons later you lost the interest. Then you will stop learning stuff. But in IT you can't just stop, right? Because it's still like school. So once you start, you can't stop unless you drop off and you start another course, but it's a waste of time again.
So did you enjoy your experience in IT actually in the end?
I enjoy. So this is very funny. So when I started to select the course, right, I didn't noticed that actually I like this course, because when I was selecting, I just looking at this course industry, like wow, so many company and so many industry like this course. Uh, so I think, or maybe I can find a job with this. So I just select this course without knowing that it actually helped me, like right now, that I actually like IT, because I don't really into IT until I get into IT.
So when you finally realized that you could go to poly, were you like super happy?
Yes, definitely. It's like I actually never really dream of going to that poly, because as IT is really hard, and especially because I was in normal tech and not normal acad. Then in IT, there's also two paths. One is NITEC, then another is higher NITEC. So higher NITEC have a better chance of going to poly compared to NITEC. So if you can't progress in IT as a NITEC, you have to go to higher NITEC. Again, spending another 2 years, then to get into poly. So I was lucky enough to progress to poly in NITEC.
Were there a lot of people who, from your IT, they managed to go to poly, or majority don't go that far in the end?
Not a lot. At least for my class, I think there's less than 10, less than 10 or less than 5 that get into poly. Yeah.
That's quite
Yeah.
a few.
Yes.
So I mean, kudos to you. You really put in effort to
Yeah.
study to
Yeah.
get there.
Yeah.
So,
I
in,
was lucky, I'll put it that way, because teachers are really helpful in IT.
in poly, any culture shock initially?
Uh, because I come from IT, so I think I got like lower self-esteem at the time. So I really study very hard during my poly days, so that I can keep up with the pace, with the O level people out there.
Was the gap quite big, or what's the
mm,
gap? What's the difference anyway? Like what made you feel, low self-esteem?
as you know, even for like N level, I think there's two type, like because I come from normal tech and normal acad. So N level, for my N level is different from normal cat N level. So there's this gap. Then from the normal at N level is very different from O level. So there's this two gap that is quite big already. So it made me have lower self-esteem at the time. Like I could be worse than what I am over there. So I study really hard during at least for my first semester.
Well, so it's actually a good thing, right? Because
Yes.
of that fear, you
Yeah.
study even harder.
Yeah.
It's a good thing. What course did you take in poly?
Engineering informatics. It's a it's under it fall in under like the IT industry as well, but a bit of like electronic stuff. That's why it's called engineering informatics.
Right. So you actually like that and you chose it, or it's more like this might be popular in the future, so I'll just study
No,
this.
it's the easiest course to get into, because if I'm not wrong, with 25 points you can get. Then the better one is like 10 points. The good one will be 10 points. Yeah.
Right.
Then 25 points I think is the minimum.
So which was more fun, IT or poly?
I think poly I have more fun compared to IT. Uh, yeah, because poly I would say poly friends, the friends there I get closer, and we hang out more, like going to places out there. Maybe maybe because maybe they're more hipster lah compared to IT. Yeah.
Okay. Um, so I assume you really studied hard and did well because you actually ended up in NTU.
Yes. Yeah.
So, what was your final GPA, if you are comfortable to share?
Final GPA in poly, or final
Yeah,
GPA
poly.
poly. So my final GPA is 3.8 plus.
And then you applied to NTU. What course did you take again? Did you apply for?
I apply for, actually I apply for computer science. at that time. I get into computer science because computer science was harder to get in. But later on, as I study in NTU, I wanted to change the course to computer engineering instead of computer science. The reason behind is I want to know more about hardware.
So, just educate us. What's the difference between comp science and comp engine?
Um, com science, com science is more about like software development and all those. Uh, this is this is something that I learned during my poly days really because in poly day I'm specialized more in the software development stage. Um, like doing as a like full stack developers, backend software, backend, front end, those kind of thing. But com engineer is slightly different. You're trying to creating a bridge between the hardware and the software thing. So in com engine, you actually learn how to program microchip, create microchip. Then you write a software to communicate between the controllers and all those. And you're also getting like feedback from the sensors and do something about it.
Okay.
So something different from POMSA. I think that interests me more than what I have learned. So maybe if I go to computer science, it will be easier for me because I already know what's going on. But I wanted to try something else, so I went for computer engineering.
So, in NTU, the level of competition there must be really high. How was
Yes,
that like?
it was very tough, especially after my 2 years of NS service, because I didn't really study for 2 years plus, and I think I'm someone that really a slow starter, so I need to get myself warm up again and start studying.
So, every day you're just studying, no life kind of
Uh,
thing.
okay, so this is something very different from my poly because poly is something that I study from the very start. But in uni, because I went for 2 years of NS, I just want to have fun in school. So I joined a lot of CCA. I didn't really study much and all those. And my first sem was bad, the result. So for my first sem midterm, I failed all my yeah, I failed all my modules. Actually, I failed all my modules very badly. So I got shocked about this, and that is the time I start to study again, and I stopped joining all the CCA.
Okay. So, once you hit that stage, you just all the way, you're just studying
Yeah,
hard and everything.
yeah. So I wouldn't say I did very well, but it's okay the results. But some module I did quite well, and some module not because it require a lot of like good maths foundation, and at the time my fundamental for maths is not that great. And a lot of time I think in uni you will be more independent, and lecturer actually will assume that you already know because you come from JC and all. They thought that you have some you already know like A level stuff, the A maths and those kind of things. So I started to watch YouTube video and start to learn it from there.
Did you ever, have the feeling like the JC group of people kind of look down on you or exclude you, that kind of thing? Or you felt
I
normal?
don't think so. I don't think so. I think people are more neutral. Maybe I'm not so sensitive, I'm not too sure. Because I'm quite a positive person. I don't really care about whether they look down on me or not. Maybe that is why I can progress. Mm.
So, going to working life now, you did well in NTU. I mean, overall it was not bad.
Mm-hmm.
And then you came out and then you got into software development again and DevOps kind of role, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is kind of the opposite of what you studied because you chose to get out of comp science with a com engine, and then but when you came out to work, you went back to a software side. So like, what's the reason behind doing that?
Um, So I think in Singapore, because not much job actually into the, because I study like com engineer, so my specialization was actually embedded system. So what embedded system does is actually created something that embed into your hardware. So for basically I put a very simple kind of thing that your battery actually, also maybe there's some embed system in the battery that can tell, feeding some thing about like the temperature of the battery and all those back to your phone. So those are like embedded into your battery, those kind of thing. So in Singapore, I think there's lesser need for this kind of role. There's more software compared to hardware stuff. So it's harder for me to look for hardware kind of engineering roles out there.
Okay, so it's more like a market forces
Yeah,
that determine.
correct. Unless you go to overseas like US and some other place.
So how long have you been working? How many years has it been already?
9 years. But at the same time, my first job was not really software development. I went to cybersecurity. I just want to try it out. Because again, I think I'm a very curious person of like, oh, I've been through like doing hardware, software kind of thing. Maybe I want to look at cybersecurity, like how does it look like, like hackers, like it's kind of cool to be so so just trying out as a cybersecurity role as a TSA, security analysis.
How was it? Like, you didn't like it or you liked it?
uh, I would say I don't really like it because it's more maybe reactive. You're waiting for things to happen. After things happen, then you have to analyze, but very first level kind of analyze stuff and report to the incidents. Yeah, so I don't really like very passive role, I'll put that way.
So, so you eventually found your way to become getting into a DevOps role.
Correct.
So which means, DevOps, my impression is always that you're building
Yeah,
stuff.
correct.
Like maybe you're architect
Yeah,
building the stuff
yeah.
up. So, what are the challenges in this role?
I think the challenge is you have to bridge between the operation and the developers, because operation is always very real time,
Yeah.
and developers is always building new stuff and all those. But there will be case that when you progress to operation, developer don't actually understand what is the current situation right now, and operation people don't really understand the lingo of the development as well. So we come into the middle, like a middleman, to understand both world and try to bridge it. So as a DevOps, you need to understand how operation works. Then try to create an environment that actually progress very fast, deploys things very fast, mitigate and resolution thing very fast in an efficient way.
So basically, the main challenge is you're the middleman.
Correct.
One side usually doesn't fully understand the other side, and you're like the mediator to
Correct.
combine both sides to
Yep.
work as one unit. Okay.
Yep.
So based on your career so far 9 years, what are the struggles that you face?
My
Maybe we can do when starting out. What were the challenges?
So as I mentioned earlier that I went to become a SA. So at that time, because I don't know what I should work as, but I trying out some new stuff. Then the good thing that I know that I don't really like this role, so I move on to become a security engineer instead of security analysis. So at least security engineer I can implement like like in the infra kind of thing, the network infra kind of thing. Then also supporting the TA, the threat analysis, to create policies and all those. So over there, I still don't feel that enough for me, because it's very limited to what I'm doing and to develop stuff. So I later on moved to become a consultant in Singtel. So over there, I think it's a fun role to do, because my department is actually trying to digitalize stuff, trying to automate stuff and all those. So you learn like different kind of technologies, different kind of tools, helping a different kind of department to automate their stuff. And that is the time also helped me to get back to the development kind of role, because you have to talk with people, understand what's going on, take down the requirement, from the requirement gathering, then based on that, what is the best tools and best thing to how to automate your stuff. Then there will be cases that you actually have to create application for them so that they can use it and reduce their workload.
So throughout these 9 years that you're working, do you have any particular 贵人 in your life?
I think every stage in my life always have like as I mentioned, in my primary school I meet this teacher, Mrs. Ham, that actually helped me and saying that you are not stupid, you just need to be more hardworking, trying to learn stuff and all those, trying these people trying to help you to progress. Then in my secondary school also got good teacher like Miss Fu, Madam B, and all those of trust me that I can actually, I'm not stupid, that I can actually progress up there, no one is stupid in this world. Then in IT, same thing, like the people are helpful and all those. Then Poly as well, in uni as well. There are always like different stage, different people actually helping me in my life. Then even in workplace, yes, you got good colleagues and all those. You can learn something from there. Even if there's something bad about the situation, but you learn something good. Like you learn something from the bad situation.
Okay.
Mm.
Just something that popped up into my mind.
Mm.
If you could go back in time and do something different during your education period, what would you do different besides studying harder? Or is it just I'll just go back and study harder?
I think I'll do the same thing because during my study phase, actually I do play hard as well. I don't really just study because I think I'm a person that needs some balance. You cannot force me to keep on studying all the way. So at certain point I need some break. I'll just go out, have some fun, having break with my friends. Then I will just play a lot of games. Then until I am too bored about the game, then I start to study again.
Okay. So basically you won't change anything, you appreciate the journey that you
Yep.
had up till today.
Yep.
Okay. That's cool. Well, I guess as a final message, what would you say to students who early stage didn't do that well in school, maybe they are also primary school didn't do well, and then it just goes on from there. What would you like to say to these students?
I would say never give up. Then even if you are not good in certain things, I'm just lucky that I'm okay with the IT, the industry kind of thing. Maybe IT is not your cup of tea, then you should try other course. You shouldn't just because you are not good in this course and you start to hate it, and you stop everything and just give up on this. And I think there's always some industry or something that you're good in.
Okay. Well, that's a very good message. From especially from someone who has gone through every single level of education in Singapore. So yeah, with that, thanks Nick for doing this interview. Really appreciate what you shared with us. So yeah.
Okay, thank you, Alvin.
Thanks.